All right, let's dive in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of mermaids.
Sounds intriguing.
It is. We've got ancient texts, folklore from around the world, even some modern-day stories.
Some people even think they're real, right?
Oh yeah, we'll be looking at all that. You'll have a good grasp on how different cultures view mermaids.
And maybe decide for yourself, myth or reality.
Exactly.
One thing that always strikes me, the mermaid idea, it's not just one place, it's everywhere.
You're right, like a global phenomenon.
And the variations are incredible.
It's like a mermaid variety pack, haha. Some are, well, let's say friendly.
And others, not so much.
Definitely. European mermaids, they often have that siren vibe, kind of dangerous and alluring.
Right, while in Asia, they can be pretty scary.
Yeah, like the ocean's dark side coming to life.
Maybe it's like humans looking at the vast ocean, all its mysteries, and turning that fear into these creatures.
That makes sense. Speaking of fear, those Greek sirens, they were deadly.
Ah, yes. Luring sailors to their doom with their beautiful singing.
But there's a fun fact. 3 sailors actually resisted them.
Oh, you mean Odysseus and his crew? They outsmarted those sirens. Shows that even when things seem impossible, human ingenuity, a bit of cleverness, can win out.
Absolutely. And then there's Germany, the Lorelei on the Rhine River, wrecking ships with her voice. Not a mermaid you'd want to bump into.
It's fascinating how both the sirens and the Lorelei use song as a weapon. Maybe our ancestors, they had this deeper fear of nature's power.
I can see that. The ocean, storms, it can be terrifying.
Or, and this is where it gets interesting, maybe it hints at some ancient awareness of sound as a weapon, something we're only now exploring with technology.
Wow, you're blowing my mind. But let's switch gears to Ireland. Their mermaids are called the Marrow.
The Marrow, they have both male and female forms, green hair and tails.
And get this, they could interbreed with humans.
Now that's a complex relationship between humans and merfolk. Not just fear, but a possibility of connection.
But not without risks. Some stories mention children born with scales or webbed fingers.
Yeah, the tails get pretty wild.
Okay, let's travel to Asia now. The Japanese have the Nino. Small, fish-like, and there are even mummies of them.
Yeah, and it gets even stranger. They have the chicken woman, a terrifying mermaid that uses her hair to trap young men and, well, drain their blood.
Yikes. That's definitely not Ariel. Seems like in Japan, mermaids were often seen as bad omens.
True, much like in some European cultures.
Yeah.
But even within one culture, there are different views. The Japanese also have stories of mermaids granting immortality.
Immortality. Now, that's a story I want to hear.
So there's this tale, the 800-year-old Buddhist nun. Her father accidentally ate some mermaid flesh, brought it home. She ate it too, unknowingly. And she lived for centuries, but outlived everyone she knew. Immortality with a heavy price.
Wow, that makes you think, would you really want to live forever?
It's a question we all wrestle with. But let's get back to our global mermaid tour. Japan has a lot of mermaid-like beings, but China, not so much. They have the Liu, human face, fish body, kind of like an axolotl.
An axolotl mermaid. Now that's cute.
The lack of detailed Chinese mermaid myths is curious. Maybe their relationship with the ocean is different compared to island nations like Japan. But the Liu makes you wonder, could some mermaid sightings actually just be misidentified sea creatures? Creatures we haven't even discovered yet.
That's a good point. We're still learning so much about the ocean. Speaking of challenging what we know, there's this ancient Chinese text that really turns things upside down.
You mean the Wananzi?
Yeah, that's the one. It describes, well, kind of a reverse evolution. Powerful beings becoming simpler forms, eventually ending up as humans.
It's a wild concept, the opposite of how we usually think about evolution.
Makes you question, what is progress, really? Are we getting more complex or actually devolving?
Deep stuff. It makes us rethink progress. Is it just complexity or maybe wisdom, compassion, or understanding our place in the universe? That text really pushes us to consider different perspectives.
Definitely makes you think. But before we get too philosophical, let's jump into modern-day mermaid sightings, actual sightings in the 20th and 21st centuries.
There have been some interesting ones for sure.
Like in 1967, a group of people on a Canadian boat, they saw a woman, topless, with a dolphin-like tail, chilling on a rock.
There was even a reward offered for proof, but she disappeared.
Poof, gone. And then there's South Africa, 2008. Campers saw a pale-skinned woman with red eyes in a river. Sounds creepy.
It was. Their descriptions are vivid, and the terror they felt, it makes you wonder, what if they really saw something?
And then there's that video from Israel, 2013, a figure with a tail going into the water, grainy footage, but it looks not human.
Hoax, trick of the light. Or something amazing, who knows?
Hmm,
But these stories, they keep the mystery alive. The ocean is so vast, unexplored, it's the perfect breeding ground for our imaginations.
absolutely. So, with all these tales and sightings, where do we stand on the whole "do mermaids exist" question?
Well, there are a few different ways to look at it.
Lay it on me.
First, the idea that it's all folklore, stories invented by people. But then, how come these stories pop up all over the world, often with similar details?
That's true. It's hard to explain. So, what else is there?
Second theory, some sightings could be mistaken. Dugongs, big marine mammals, kind of look like seals. But a lot of mermaid descriptions don't fit that, the hair, faces, and the singing.
Yeah, dugongs don't sing. So, what about the idea that they're just an undiscovered species? The ocean's huge. There's got to be stuff we haven't found yet.
Definitely possible. The ocean is largely unexplored. It's not crazy to think a creature like a mermaid could exist in some hidden part of the deep.
Okay, and now for the theory that really gets me going, aliens.
Ah, yes. Some think mermaids could be extraterrestrial, maybe even tied to those ancient astronaut theories.
So, aliens who breathe underwater and sing amazing songs. Now, that's a movie I'd watch.
And don't forget that Japanese story, the Buddhist nun who ate mermaid flesh and became immortal. Adds a whole other layer to the idea of mermaids being dangerous.
Right. It's like, would you take that risk for eternal life? It's fascinating.
Indeed it is. A lot to think about.
This is incredible. We've gone from sirens to blood-sucking creatures to alien singers. I'm hooked. But I'm guessing this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, we've only just begun to explore the depths of the mermaid mystery. Back again for more mermaid mysteries. I hope you're ready for some more deep diving.
Absolutely. That alien mermaid theory, it's just stuck in my head.
Well, it is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Those ancient pictures of winged beings, and then you have mermaids with, like, superpowers.
Mm.
It's hard not to connect them.
And the Greek sirens, they had wings too, right? Before they got stuck in the sea.
You're right, they did. Which lines up with some descriptions of the Anunnaki, also often shown with wings. And then there's the whole sonic power thing, those voices. Could be more than just singing.
So you're saying mermaids could be these high-tech aliens messing with us using sound. I'm feeling a little X-Files right now.
What's the theory, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it, though. Aliens interacting with humans for ages, maybe even studying us, manipulating us, changes everything.
Okay, hold on. I need to catch my breath. But let's be real for a minute. What about the arguments against mermaids being aliens?
Good point. It's easy to get carried away. The biggest one, no real physical evidence, ancient art, modern sightings, but no mermaid skeletons, no crashed spaceships on the ocean floor.
Yeah, not a single scale. So then how do they survive here?
Exactly. If they evolved on another planet, could they even handle Earth's oceans? What would they eat? How would they breathe? Alien biology would be a whole other ballgame.
So many questions. This alien theory is definitely raising more questions than answers.
It is, but that's what makes it so fascinating. It forces us to think differently about the universe, our place in it, what's possible.
So where do we go from here? Are we just left with guessing and wondering?
Not necessarily. We might not have concrete proof, but there are people trying to figure this out scientifically. Some are analyzing sounds in the ocean, looking for anything unusual.
Like trying to record mermaid songs? That's amazing.
Uh-huh. Maybe not songs, but some kind of vocalization. Sounds that could mean intelligent life. Others are watching marine animals, see if their behavior suggests interaction with unknown species.
Okay, so there's still hope for us believers.
Always. We might never have a mermaid in a tank at the aquarium, but the mystery keeps people searching. Who knows what we might discover? Maybe one day we'll have solid evidence.
Fingers crossed. But even if mermaids are just fantasy, the stories tell us a lot about how we see the ocean and the unknown, all that fear and fascination.
Absolutely. It's like they tap into our deepest desires and anxieties. Whether real or not, mermaids remind us the world is full of mysteries and maybe, just maybe, some magic we haven't found yet.
I like that. But before we wrap up, we've talked about how different cultures see mermaids, but what do they really represent beyond just being, mermaids?
That's an interesting question. It really depends on the culture, the specific story. Sometimes they're like raw nature, a force to respect, even fear.
Makes sense. The ocean can be pretty powerful.
Right. In other stories, they embody beauty, attraction, but also danger. It's like a reflection of how complicated our view of the feminine can be.
Like the sirens, they're often seen as these temptresses leading men to their doom.
Exactly. It's like this primal feminine energy that can be both alluring and destructive. And then you have stories like the Buddhist nun, where the mermaid represents immortality, and the kind of loneliness that comes with it.
So mermaids are more than just creatures. They're symbols, metaphors, warnings, all rolled into one.
You got it. They let us explore deeper things, human nature, our relationship with the environment, and even that search for meaning in the universe.
Wow, this has been quite the journey. Ancient myths, modern sightings, aliens. I feel like I've learned so much, but also have more questions now than before.
That's the cool thing about exploring like this. It's not always about the answers, but about asking new questions, sparking that curiosity.
And you never know what might lead to a whole new discovery. Before things get too philosophical, though, gotta ask, what do you think? Do you believe?
Uh-huh. You're putting me on the spot. I try to be skeptical, but also open-minded. There could be things out there we just don't get. So, do I believe? Maybe, but I'd need some serious proof. How about you?
I've always loved the unexplained, so the idea of mermaids, it really gets me going. Part of me wants to believe, just for the wonder of it, but I also know the ocean is full of amazing creatures, things we're still figuring out. Maybe mermaids are out there waiting. Or maybe they're just like reflections of our hopes and dreams. Either way, pretty cool to think about.
Couldn't agree more. And, hey, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to finally crack the mermaid code.
Now that would be something. Well, folks, we're going to come up for air for now, but we'll be back to finish our mermaid deep dive. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're back, ready to wrap up our mermaid deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, ancient myths, modern sightings, even aliens. But there's one big question we haven't really tackled. What if, and this is a big what if, mermaids actually DID exist?
Now, that's a question that takes us way beyond just science, doesn't it? We're talking ethics, philosophy, even politics. Finding intelligent life in our oceans, creatures like mermaids. It would totally change how we see the natural world.
Right. I mean, it's not like finding a new species of fish.
Yeah.
These could be as smart as us, maybe even more advanced. It'd be a huge deal.
It would be a total paradigm shift. We'd have to think about their rights, their culture, how to communicate.
And that's assuming they even want to communicate with us.
Exactly. We're so used to being the only intelligent species on this planet. Imagine having to share not just space, but resources, ideas.
It's exciting, but kind of scary, too. Think about it. We haven't always been so great at sharing with other species, even on land.
Yeah, history is full of examples of how we've messed things up. If we did find mermaids, we'd have to tread very carefully, show them respect. It'd be a test. Could we treat another intelligent species right, even if they're different?
Big test. Would we be able to coexist? Or would fear and greed take over?
Tough question, right? No way to know for sure, but it's something we should be thinking about. Finding mermaids, or any intelligent life out there, it would be a turning point for humanity. It'd force us to look at our values, our place in the universe, in a whole new light.
So much to consider. All right, as we come to the end of our deep dive, what are the big things you want our listeners to take away from all this mermaid talk?
Well, I hope they come away with a sense of wonder at how many different mermaid stories there are all around the world. These stories, they show how fascinated we are by the ocean, by what might be hiding down there.
And the question of whether they're real, should we keep an open mind?
Always. I think it's important to be open to possibilities, but also to think critically. We know the ocean is huge, full of surprises. We haven't found everything yet. So yeah, maybe mermaids are out there. Or maybe they're just, like you said earlier, reflections of what we hope for, what we dream about. Keep researching those sightings, read those old stories, maybe even do some exploring yourself.
You know what? I'm with you on that. Never stop being curious. But one last thing, something for everyone to think about. Let's say mermaids DO exist and they've been watching us this whole time. What do you think they'd say about humans?
Whoa, now that's a question for another deep dive.
Maybe we'll have to do that sometime. For now, thanks for joining us. Keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and never lose that sense of wonder. Until next time.